My name is Jim Maxey. I served actually stateside most of my time, and I did 6 years in the United States Air Force, and then I did another 4 years in the Army National Guard right at the end of the Vietnam War also. So I was in at the beginning of the war and at the end of the war. And in between that, I did technical training for Vietnam vets coming back in all stages of disarray, and I heard all the terrible, terrible stuff that went on during that time. And it was very dramatic to me. That's why I went in the second time in the 70s. Went back in because it had to, the service needed people at that time. So
yeah, and serving in Vietnam, then you got to experience the lack of compassion for our soldiers as well during that period of time. How was that for you?
That was tough. And I don't want to skip ahead too far, but when we got back from this honor flight to Washington and we came into the airport here, and there were that line of people all waiting to welcome us back home, it brought tears to my eyes. It's told us, as you can tell, because that didn't happen in the 60s and 70s. It just didn't happen. The stories that I heard were you just, as soon as you got on the plane coming home, you took off your uniform because you didn't want them to know that you were in uniform to get off the plane. So that was really tough.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's terrible that happened, but that's what makes the honor flight so awesome. That's just one aspect. Let's get into the honor flight. So you were able to go on an honor flight. What was that like for you?
It was fantastic. Everything. From the setup, the dinner on Sunday night, all the accolades that happened then and the presents that we got, and then going to the airport on Monday morning and going through the whole group of people again, welcoming us, sending us off. The flight was great. The food was tremendous all the way through this thing. They really fed us good. We got to Washington, D.C. They brought us to the airport. There were just people in line again, all went to shake your hand and congratulate you and welcome you back. And then we got on the buses, and we had a motorcycle escort all through the city. And we just went zip, zip, zip from one memorial to the other. And it is, people see the pictures, I'm sure, of all of us at the Lincoln Memorial there, but it's hard to describe the feeling that goes through a person when you're in that group and this is happening for you. And all the memorials, the Vietnam Wall was tough. I had some people there that had died. I had graduated from high school during the Korean War, and when I got to the Korean monument, that really set me back. I was really emotional in the Korean memorial there. But then we went through to the World War II. I was amazed at that. I didn't even realize what was there. This was such a great, great trip for me. And we ended up at the Air Force Memorial, which was very dear to me because I was in the Air Force for that 6 years. I enjoyed every bit of that, and especially the surprise for mail call. I don't want to spoil it for everybody else, but when we were coming back and they turn on the lights and the mail call, it just sent a shiver down my back because of how few letters were actually, from the people that I talked to, how few letters were actually sent to Vietnam and how many actually didn't make it there. Some people wrote and they never made it there. The letters never got there.
Sure.
And so that was just fantastic. And then again, coming off the plane and going through hundreds of people in the airport, all welcoming. It was very emotional, awesome, well exceeded my expectations of what happened. I'd never been to Washington, D.C. in all my life. It's just a funny thing about it. And to see all of that was just fantastic.
So obviously it was a great experience for you. Some veterans feel hesitant if they haven't seen combat. They always think like, maybe this is for people who only seen combat or something like that, and that makes them hesitant. But I'm assuming you would encourage them that it's not about that and that they deserve to go as well.
I absolutely would encourage anybody to sign up and go on this trip. The comradeship that even if you didn't serve overseas, if you were serving even stateside, the comradeship that and the friendships that you gain during that period of time, you need to expand on that. You need to meet these other people. I met dozens of guys and started new friendships, and you all feel the same sense of comradeship, whether you were there, whether you were here in support, whatever. And so I would encourage everybody that served to go. I don't care if you were only just in the National Guard. The National Guard has supported an awful lot of people there. So sign up, definitely.
Well, James, I want to thank you for your service and thank you for telling a little bit of your story with your experience on the honor flight.
Good. Thank you very much.